Hey, what's cracking? Hope this video finds you doing well. A few hours ago, I put a video up. Tornadoes are going off all around us, and my wife said you might want to get in there and make that video in case the power goes out. Because the last time it was out for about 24 hours and it caused the video to be late. And so I was trying to get all that done. And as you know, I don't ever have anything written down for me to read off of for these videos. It's just me sitting here talking to you. I feel like that makes it more authentic and more real. And I don't do any editing. And I've never made a video where I watched it and thought, hey, you messed up, so I don't put it up. I always put it up because I'm trying to keep it real. If it was me and you sitting there talking, I wouldn't be able to grab any words and put them back in my mouth. But there was something I said and I didn't clarify it well enough. And I just wasn't going to rest well until I clarified that. So I'm going to put that video up as part one and put this as part two of lessons learned in maximum security. When I told a story about an old man I asked him why he let this old black man talk to him that way. If all the black people, we were supposed to be the N word this and N word that, and McAllister's how it is, why would he let him talk to him that way, that black man? And he explained to me that you should cheat a cheat, steal from a thief, lie to a liar, and be honest with an honest man. So my point when I told you that was that at that time I made a decision that it didn't make sense to me to get onto a yard and immediately make enemies of half the yard by not liking black people. And I wasn't raised that way. My grandmother raised me that it didn't matter what color your skin was, that we was all children of God. So I didn't know anything about that racist stuff. I was sitting eating breakfast with a black guy at Lexington. I didn't know better. And I talked about that in a video. Um, so my point was that at that time I made the decision not to judge people by their skin the way I was being told to in there, but to judge them by how they treated me. And that's what I meant by that story. Because in no way am I telling you that you should cheat, steal, or lie to anyone. Okay, so that's not how I live my life. Regardless of how other people carry themselves, I still try to be the best man I can be. I'm not in prison anymore. I'm not fighting to survive. The same rules don't apply. Uh, it would be much, much tougher for you to live that way in prison, to try to turn the other cheek in there. But I do want to tell you a little story about how prayer did help me before I end this video. I was at Crabtree and I was in what's called phases. And in phases, not at Crabtree, at Holdenville. And in what's called phases, you're upstairs and the top run is locked down, but the bottom run was out. So you're locked down in your cell up there and you're looking out and you see these other guys, they're running in and out. They're going out to chow. They're going out to exercise and to gym and everything. And they're out in the middle of the day room watching TV. And you're locked down in your cell 24 hours a day. You get about 15 minutes 3 times a week to take a shower. But other than that, you're locked in your room and you're in what's called phases. And you're in there for several months. And you have to work yourself off of it. And you're in there because you've gotten some kind of trouble. And I had gotten in trouble, and so I was going through phases. And there was a guy that was in the day room below me, and he was one of the ones out running around. And I absolutely hated this guy. I hated him. Every time I seen him, all I could do is think about doing things that I wanted to hurt this guy different ways. So one day I decided to try to get over this. I'm going to start trying to pray for that guy. Because when you start off trying to do it, it's really hard to pray for someone that you don't like. Because you can't pray for them and be for real about it unless you let go of that. So every day I try to make myself pray for this guy, pray for this guy, pray for this guy. Because I read on the wall one time that if you could see into the lives of your enemy, see everything that they had went through that made them the way they are, you wouldn't wish them harm at all. And I believe that that's true. But I started praying for that guy all the time. Every day I'd pray for him. Every time I see him, instead of hating him, I'd try to pray for him. And before I knew it, I didn't hate that guy anymore. So that works. But in prison, you have to follow different rules than the rules that you have out here. So in prison, I did want to go by the way people treated me. That's how I treated them. And that's how I did my time. And it caused me a lot of problems, but it helped me a lot of times too. And we're going to get into that in the future stories. Before I go, I made a little short video and said thank you, Tony. Tony Whitson, he went back and remade those first 5 videos for me that you couldn't hear. He remade them for me. I mean, he didn't remake them for me. He went back and fixed the sound so that I reposted them, and that's why they're up a second time. And I put on their fixed sound. But I wanted to mention it in one of these videos because that short didn't get as many views, and I wanted to make sure Tony got the recognition he should deserve for doing that for me. He did it out of the kindness of his heart. He didn't get anything for it, just some appreciation. So thanks again, Tony, for doing that for me. And I hope this little short video will clear up what I left hanging in that other. So hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out. May God protect you and yours.